Hey guys, it's the DutchSimsMaster and welcome to this brand new The Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm building the Toddler Palace because in case you've maybe missed this news, toddlers have been added to The Sims 4, which is like quite a big deal. So far, what's the perfect thing to build that's related to toddlers, because of course I'm not really going to do a let's play which has something to do with toddlers because I didn't really miss them in the game. I knew that very many people did miss them, but personally I'm not really into the gameplay of The Sims 4. I love building, but gameplay is not really my thing, so I didn't really miss them. But I knew that everyone missed them, so therefore I sort of missed them as well. But to celebrate that they finally arrived in The Sims 4, I thought I'm going to build the Toddler Palace, which is just a house. It's located in Newcrest, so the free world for The Sims 4. And yeah, it's just a very toddler focused or just a kids inspired build, very many colors, and as you can probably already tell, the shape of it is very special as well, because what do kids often play with, especially toddlers? Exactly, those wooden blocks, or not even wooden, they can be any kind of material, but just blocks. That's what they love to play with, different kinds of colors. And I thought, yeah, I just came up with this idea and I really hoped that it would work out. And in the end, I'm really happy with the way it turned out to look like, because it turned out to look very beautiful and sort of the way I had it in mind. And that's always the hard part. You've got something in mind, but then you've got to turn it into reality. And that tends to be sort of difficult at times, especially when you want to recreate something. And this is sort of recreating something from real life into The Sims 4. But yeah, it also requires quite some like smart tricks and stuff to make it look good, but in the end it worked out, and I'm very curious to hear what you think about it. So if you like it, leave a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of these kinds of speed builds, because I do them a lot, and yeah, I just love to make them. And if you would subscribe, I would be able to make even more of these kinds of videos. And yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think of it, and what do you think of the arrival of toddlers, because that's what I'm very curious about as well, because very many people are so like hyped about it, which I can totally imagine, but I just want to see that hype in the comments, because I mean, we've been waiting for toddlers for more than 2 years, ever since like even before the release of The Sims 4, when we knew toddlers wouldn't be there. We already wanted toddlers to be there, so that's like awesome. But I think for me the biggest part would be if terrain tools would be added to The Sims 4, because that's just what I'm personally really missing. But I think that will be added sometime soon. Well, maybe not soon, but sometime at some point in like the live stage of The Sims 4 it will be added, I think. But it's probably just something like toddlers, which they want to add, but which just really takes a lot of time, and which they didn't expect people would miss so much, or at least that's what I sort of imagine it to be with toddlers. They realized, okay, we've screwed up, and they realized that after like a week after the release already, and then they started planning like, okay, how we're going to fix this. And then it took like 1.5 years to create toddlers and get them out there. But I must say this is a really good start of 2017, because of course 2016 wasn't really the best year when it comes to The Sims. We didn't have very many expansion packs, no free updates, or at least no huge free updates like these. So that's really a big difference so far already between 2016 and 2017. So this is very promising. But yeah, about the build, I've uploaded to the gallery. Look for a gallery ID DutchSimsMaster, then you can put this into your own game. You can play around with it with your toddlers. You can also change the colors or change the shape or whatever. If you want only blue blocks, you can add only blue blocks. So, well, blue blocks, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, if you want to, you can just do that. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way it's turned out to look like. I think it's just very colorful, but still sort of it's modern, because of the windows are added, and still it's not like very boring, even though it are like only blocks. But it's still, yeah, it was sort of a challenge to get it out there, but it worked out. And I really wanted to get it out as quickly as possible, so that all of you with toddlers in your family, or at least all of those who like added a toddler to their Sims family, so that you can download this and play around with it. But let me know what else you would like to see me build in the future, because yeah, like your suggestions always really help me out. So I'd love to get to know more about that. Just let me know in the comments down below, and then I guess I can start thinking about that and working on that. By the way, I've added the pools as well. I'm currently starting on the interior, but I've added pools in the front. Well, it's actually in the back, but the front of the house, or the most beautiful part of the house, is actually in the back, but it's, yeah, therefore I call it the front. Okay, that's sort of confusing, but anyways, what I wanted to say is that those pools, I thought it was sort of a creative idea to create like 3 of those pools, also shaped like blocks, even sized, but different colors. Having those turtles in it would really be like childish sort of, which is of course what this house is. It's sort of a childish house because it's totally focused on children and toddlers and everything. So yeah, how many bedrooms does this house have? Let me count because I'm not totally sure. 1, 2, 3, 5 bedrooms, so that's like one of the biggest houses I've ever built. Then we've got 3 bathrooms, a dining area, a living room area, and everything is very colorful, very like a lot of focused on children, of course, and children like color. So I decided to add a lot of color into the house, except for the parents' bedroom, because yeah, I believe that's sort of a thing common for children, that the bedroom of their parents is always like very boring, or at least I always had that. So therefore I thought, I'm not going to use a lot of color, because that's always the reason why children find their parents' room like very boring. So I made it like a very dull, not so colorful room, especially in contrast to like the rest of the house, which is like very colorful in the outside and on the inside. But yeah, that's just something I came up with, which I thought would be cool, and just some little things which you might not know if you don't like watch the video, but it's like some things I thought about, which yeah, I always find it very nice to hear about creators like in any way, so, or at least in any format. So from videos to like architecture to whatever, if a creator has thought about something in like sort of a clever way, I always really like it. So therefore I came up with this idea, which I thought was pretty cool, so I thought I'd mention it. And then the garden isn't too special. I've really added like very many children's, like a basketball field and the slip and slide thing, and like a ship even in in the front. I've never used that ship before, but this is the first time, because normally it doesn't really fit in like a normal house. But I thought, okay, if there is any house I ever built, and if I still want to use that object, it should be this one, because this is focused on children. And this might be my last like totally focused on children house, because this is like extreme. It can't be more extreme than this. But if you'd like to see me build more toddler houses, toddler palaces, then let me know, because yeah, if you like it, I guess. Yeah, I really enjoyed creating it as well, probably because it was something different, and still it turned out to look cool. But it's just, yeah, I'm very happy with the colors in the end, because I was afraid that the colors wouldn't really work out. But yeah, the colors are just, they are bright, not too bright. They're realistic when it comes to the colors which blocks normally have, or at least what, of course, the blocks can have any color, but this is sort of what I imagined them to be like. So yeah, for that extent, I'm very happy with the way it turned out to look like. And then we've actually got a new game pack coming up for The Sims 4 as well. It's the Vampire game pack, which I'm pretty excited about. I've not really seen a lot of it yet, but I'm very curious to hear more about it and check it out for myself. Because yeah, of course on the release date I'll be uploading videos about it, which yeah, I guess I'll be building like some kind of spooky vampire house or something like that. It's really a game pack focused on gameplay, I think, or at least in my opinion. Not really a lot on building, but I thought the same with this toddler update, and there were actually like 10 perfect, like really good new items coming with this update. So I guess I can't really judge that anymore, because I mean the toddler update came with very many items, so maybe the like this, what was the name, just the vampires game pack comes with very many items as well. But yeah, I'm just not really sure about that yet, but you'll find out more about that on yeah, on my channel if you just follow it, and that would just be cool, because then on the release you'll be able to download like new items and stuff, or new houses, or whatever I'm going to build. Maybe like a vampire apartment would be cool. But yeah, this is the moment I do actually start working on the interior. I already mentioned that I would be starting on the interior previously, but that was only making the layout. And now I'm actually working on like the entire interior itself, which I found very interesting to create, because normally I always want to have like some more realistic interiors when it comes to using just some industrial stuff and just modern and good looking. With children, it's a little bit different because, of course, it's a house filled with children, so you've got toys all around. It's pretty messy probably, or at least that's sort of the stereotype which I went for. And because it's like a children's palace, I decided to use very much color, and seriously like very many different kinds of colors all around, and therefore you might not think it looks good, or at least you might not really like it, but you might think, okay, that's pretty cool with like how colorful it is. But personally, I would really not want to live in this house, or at least not on my age right now, because I'm a little bit too old for that. 17, is that too old to live in a toddler palace? Well, you're never too old to do anything, but I think I wouldn't really like to live in this. But as a toddler, I can imagine that this is like the perfect place to live. So if you've got toddlers in your family in The Sims, you can just download this house and put them in there. And for instance, here you already see that I'm using like very many different colors, because the walls are like very brightly colored. The floor is yellow, which I would normally not really do, but still like it's wood, so it's yellow wood, which does actually add like a very playful effect in my opinion. And then here we've just got the living room, very many colors, and then I'm working on the dining area over here, which turned out really cool as well, because we've got new items with this update, which are these like children's, the toddler, what do you call it, a chair for toddlers to sit in while they eat, because of course they're too small to actually sit on a regular chair, so they can sit in there. So that's pretty cool. So I've really added very many of the new items that come with this new update, just in order to show you what you can do with it, and also just because the items look cool. So, you know, in that way I could just make the house look much better as well. And recently I've really been focusing on getting lighting correct, or at least really focusing on lighting in The Sims 4, especially on the interior, because normally I just add those regular spotlights just to light up the area, because those are very well at lighting up everything, but it's not like the most beautiful lighting then, or at least like at night, it's not like, you can't create like a cozy feeling. It's just very lit up, sort of like a store or something, or a warehouse or whatever. So I thought, you know, I've got to change that. So recently in houses and apartments, I've really been focusing on the lighting plan, getting that more, like realistic, and also actually adding some cool lights, also ceiling lights especially, because normally I would think, well, those are not really important, because often you don't even see them. But I have actually started adding like more good looking lights, because there are very many cool lights to add in The Sims 4. They've really done their best to create many different kinds of lights. There are several new lights with this new update as well, which is free to download, by the way. So, well, to download, you should just update your game, and then you've got access to all this toddler madness. So that's pretty cool, in case you missed it, because I can imagine that you've just started watching this video, you've not really been focusing on toddlers yet, but now you realize, okay, how do I get it? Well, that's just how you do it. Just update your game and you've got them. Just keep in mind that if you use custom content, you probably have to like deactivate that before you actually start updating, but you probably know that if you've got custom content. I personally never use custom content, by the way, or nearly never. If I do, I very clearly state it, because I know that people prefer me not to use custom content, which I can imagine. And I personally also prefer myself not to use custom content, so I just don't. By the way, here I've got another sort of nice story or thinking process I had there, because I just added like a very boring, dull poster of like a chair which could literally hang in like IKEA, and I just put that in like the parents' room just to make it even more boring, because like I mentioned, children, especially toddlers, often think that their parents' room is like boring and dull, especially compared to their own room. So I thought, I'm just going to make it even more boring by just adding that very stupid poster, which I actually don't really know why they added that poster, because I know that the chair which is visualized on it is actually in the game, but like I don't really know why they would add like a poster of a chair in the game. But yeah, this is maybe the first time I've added it. I can't imagine if I have added it in any of my other houses. It's sort of stupid, because that's just not a good looking poster, and there's so many different posters to choose from that I can't imagine that I chose that one. But I maybe have added it before. I've at least seen it. Then, by the way, here we're working on the first bedroom. Because the rooms were sort of small, big, I decided to add several beds in a couple of the rooms. Oh, I just pushed my microphone, I'm sorry for that. But because like this room is pretty big, so I thought I'm just going to add 2 beds. The beds are pretty small as well, so that's just easy to do. And this is sort of a boys' room, or at least that's what I imagined it to be like. But it's actually a very neutral room as well. It's just that gaming console and the television makes it a little bit more of a boys' room, even though that's a thing that girls can do as well, of course. But that's sort of what I imagined it to be like, because the next room is going to be like a very clearly a girls' room, which turned out to look pretty cool, because I've added panda chairs in the room. Maybe you already know this, I've sort of got a panda obsession. I really like pandas because they just look cool. Come on, pandas. I don't even have to explain why I like them, I guess. But therefore I thought, I'm just going to put those pandas in that room, and that actually made the room really cool. And generally, just those new beds, those car-shaped beds are just, I think it's just cool, and it's also, in my opinion, a very clear hint to like a fast lane or just a car expansion or a game pack or stuff pack anytime in the near future. So probably this year, because I think it's sort of a clear preview, but I'm not too sure because I'm not like a developer, and we should ask them, but they will probably not let us know. But I think I'm really predicting that like a pack like that is coming, because that's something else that people really wanted for The Sims 4, and I think that the Sims team is really just sort of re-evaluating everything that they don't have in the game, which the people do want. Because we've got toddlers which are going to be added, or which have been added already, and I hope that they're just going over all those things that are suggested and they just put it into the game to make it even better, or at least it is cool, of course, Toddlers should have been in the base game, and I do agree on the fact that they actually didn't really deliver a finished game. But still, it's pretty cool that they have actually listened to us and admitted, okay, we should have added them. Here you go, you've got them for free, which is, if they would have charged for Toddlers, that would seriously be, they could simply not do that. They know that themselves probably, but that would sort of be stupid, because it's something which should have been added, so therefore it should be free as well. But they thought about that perfectly fine, and that made that it's actually, I think The Sims 4 will come back to life again, because it's sort of been going downhill with the game, or at least I've sort of had the feeling that it's been going downhill, but that might just be me. But let me know what you think, or what you would hope to see in the future in The Sims 4, because I'm very curious to hear about that. I really want to have terrain tools and the tropical world. That's really what I hope to see, and I'm very curious to hear about like your wishes for the game. This is a very like red room for like really a toddler. This is just a young kid with his trains and a duck and like very many, also a koala chair, because I really like koalas as well. Koalas are just cool. Then I added a castle and just some random stuff, and it's fun to notice how many different items there actually are in the game, because really there are very many items, but so many you actually just don't use, because for instance I don't very often create a children's room, and therefore you don't really use the child focused like items. But now for this house I have used them, and it's like fun to notice or like explore some new objects. Or at least just what I thought. Here I'm working on, this is more of a teens room, so this is not really part of the Toddler's Palace. It is part of the Toddler's Palace, but it's like, of course, toddlers grow up as well, and so many toddlers live in this house that by the time that the first toddler or first baby is born, that and the last one, there's just some age between them. So when the last one is a toddler, the first one is probably like a teen already. And that's sort of, unless of course you've got like a huge twin family, or not just twins, but like what do you call that? When it's like, when you get 5 babies at a time, I don't know. But yeah, here we've just got the general like chill out area for the toddlers with where they can play foosball, but I just realized while seeing this that they can probably not play foosball as toddlers, but still it's cool, and if they're older they can play with it. But anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. We're at the end now. I've really talked a lot in my opinion, but I hope it wasn't too much. Let me know what you think of this Toddler Palace and what you think of the fact that toddlers have been added like in general. And then I really hope to see you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and then I also really hope to see you back in another video. Bye bye.